Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Take a look at this, the iconic skyline of New York City. A forest of glass and steel that touches the clouds. But have you ever wondered how it all started? How did the city, once a collection of modest low-rise buildings, reach for the sky? Today, we're traveling back in time to witness the birth of the New York skyline. Our story begins in the late 19th century. New York was a city on the brink of a revolution. Immigrants were pouring in, businesses were booming, and Manhattan Island was getting crowded. There was only one direction left to build, up. But there was a problem. Traditional building methods just couldn't support the weight of taller structures. That is, until two groundbreaking innovations changed everything: steel frame construction and the safety elevator. Before steel, buildings were supported by their thick, heavy walls. The taller you built, the thicker the base had to be, which ate up valuable ground floor space. But steel frame construction created a strong, lightweight skeleton. The walls were no longer holding the building up. They were just curtains hanging off the frame. Suddenly, the sky was literally the limit. But what's the point of a tall building if you have to climb 20 flights of stairs? Enter Elisha Otis and his safety elevator. His invention, which prevented the car from falling if a cable broke, made people feel safe enough to live and work dozens of stories above the ground. With the technology in place, the race to the top began. In 1902, the striking, wedge-shaped Flatiron building was completed. At 22 stories, it wasn't the tallest. But its unique triangular design made it an instant icon and one of the world's first true skyscrapers. It was a marvel of engineering, a symbol of a new, ambitious era. People would gather just to stare at it. Some even worried it might be blown over by a strong gust of wind. But the ambition didn't stop there. Just over a decade later, in 1913, the Woolworth Building opened its doors. Standing at a colossal 792 feet, it dwarfed everything around it. Nicknamed the Cathedral of Commerce, its Gothic-inspired design was breathtaking. It was the tallest building in the world for 17 years and a powerful statement. It showed that American business wasn't just profitable. It was powerful, elegant, and reaching for new heights. So what fueled this vertical explosion? It was a perfect storm of factors. Manhattan's geography, a long, narrow island, meant that land was incredibly scarce and expensive. Building upward was the most logical and profitable way to maximize a small plot of land. At the same time, the city was the undisputed center of American commerce. Corporations wanted their headquarters to be prominent, to be a testament to their success. A skyscraper was the ultimate advertisement, a landmark that declared, "We have arrived." This architectural boom wasn't just about buildings. It reflected a profound cultural shift. Early 20th century New York was buzzing with energy, a melting pot of cultures, ideas, and ambitions. The skyline became a physical manifestation of the American dream itself. The idea that with ingenuity and hard work, you could rise above the crowd and achieve the impossible. These early skyscrapers weren't just stone and steel. They were monuments to progress, symbols of a city and a nation stepping onto the world stage. They laid the foundation, quite literally, for the awe-inspiring metropolis we know today. Ever look at the New York City skyline and wonder about the stories hidden within those steel giants? Today, we're diving into one of the most epic rivalries in architectural history, the Great Skyscraper Race of the late 1920s. It was a time of ambition, innovation, and a little bit of sneaky competition. The Roaring Twenties were all about excess and ambition. In Manhattan, a race to the skies was on. Developers were locked in a fierce battle to claim the title of the world's tallest building. It wasn't just about office space. It was a powerful symbol of progress and prestige. Two main contenders emerged, each with a vision to touch the clouds. Walter Chrysler of the Chrysler Corporation and John J. Raska, a former executive at General Motors. First up was the Chrysler Building. Led by architect William Van Allen, this project was a masterpiece of Art Deco design. Its gleaming terraced crown, adorned with eagle gargoyles modeled after Chrysler hood ornaments, was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Van Allen was in a direct race with his former partner, H. Craig Severance, who was building 40 Wall Street. For months, they one-upped each other, adding a few feet here and there. Severance thought he had it won when his building topped out. But Van Allen had a secret weapon. A 185-foot spire had been secretly assembled inside the building's frame. In a stunning move, it was hoisted into place in just 90 minutes. making the Chrysler Building the undisputed tallest in the world in 1930. It was a brilliant, dramatic finish to a hard-fought race. But the celebration was short-lived. Just a few blocks away, an even more audacious project was underway. John J. Raskob was determined to create a building that would dwarf everything else. He famously asked his architects, "How high can you make it so it won't fall down?" The result was the Empire State Building. What's truly mind-boggling is the speed of its construction. This colossal structure rose at an incredible pace of 4.5 stories per week. In just over a year, 13.5 months to be exact, the Empire State Building was completed in 1931, snatching the title from the Chrysler Building and holding it for nearly 40 years. However, both of these magnificent towers faced a threat bigger than any architectural rival: the Great Depression. The stock market crash of 1929 hit just as they were nearing completion. Suddenly, the booming economy that fueled their creation was gone. The Chrysler Building struggled to find tenants. The Empire State Building fared even worse, earning the unfortunate nickname the Empty State Building because so much of its office space sat vacant for years. It was a stark reminder that even the grandest ambitions are subject to the winds of economic change. So how did the Empire State Building go from the Empty State Building to a global icon? Its height and observation deck played a huge role. It offered unparalleled views of the city, becoming an instant tourist sensation. But it was Hollywood that truly cemented its legendary status. The 1933 classic film, King Kong, featuring the giant ape climbing the tower, captured the world's imagination. Since then, it has appeared in hundreds of films and TV shows, becoming a shorthand for New York City itself. While the Chrysler Building is beloved by architects for its beauty, the Empire State Building became a symbol of resilience, ambition, and the enduring spirit of the city it towers over. And that's the incredible story of two skyscrapers, one rivalry, and the city they helped define. It's a tale of genius, ego, and the dramatic twists of history. What's your favorite building on the NYC skyline? Today, we're taking a journey through time, looking at two structures that once defined a city, Skyline, and held a special place in the world as imagination: the Twin Towers. Our story begins in the bustling 1970s. New York City, a global hub of finance and culture, dreamed even bigger. The vision was to create a monumental World Trade Center, a beacon of international commerce. This wasn't just about building offices. It was about creating a city within a city, a place where the world could come together to do business. Out of this ambitious vision, the Twin Towers were born, soaring into the sky as a testament to human ingenuity and aspiration. When the towers were completed, they were nothing short of an architectural and engineering marvel. For a time, they were the tallest buildings in the world, each climbing over 1,360 feet into the clouds. The architect, Minoru Yamasaki, designed them with a unique tube-frame structural system. This innovative approach allowed for open floor plans and gave the towers their sleek, minimalist look. They weren't just tall, they were smart. Elevators operated like a subway system, with sky lobbies to ferry thousands of people efficiently every day. From the observation deck of the South Tower, you could see for miles, a breathtaking panorama that made you feel like you were on top of the world. More than just steel and glass, the Twin Towers became powerful cultural symbols. They were the undisputed stars of the New York City skyline, featured in countless movies, postcards, and photographs. They represented the ambition, economic power, and resilience of New York. For New Yorkers, they were a constant, a landmark to navigate by. For visitors, they were the first thing you looked for, a sign that you had truly arrived in the greatest city on earth. They were a backdrop for daily life, a symbol of hope, and a fixture in the collective consciousness. Then came September 11th, 2001. It was a day that started like any other, with a clear blue sky over Manhattan. But it ended as one of the darkest days in modern history. The attacks on the World Trade Center were an unprecedented tragedy. The towers that had stood as symbols of strength and endurance were gone in a matter of hours. The skyline was forever changed, and the void was left not just in the cityscape, but in the hearts of people worldwide. It was a profound loss, a moment that shook the world to its core and marked the end of an era. The memory of that day serves as a solemn reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of peace and understanding. In the face of immense loss, the spirit of New York and the world shone through. The site, once a scene of devastation, became a place of remembrance and resilience. The process of rebuilding was long and emotional, but it was driven by a powerful desire to honor the past while looking toward the future. In 2014, One World Trade Center opened its doors. Reaching a symbolic height of 1,776 feet, it's a beacon of hope, resilience, and rebirth. Alongside the stunning new tower, the National September 11th Memorial and Museum stands as a beautiful and poignant tribute to the lives lost. It's a space for reflection, ensuring that we never forget. The story of the World Trade Center is a powerful journey of rise, fall, and ultimately, a remarkable rebirth. If you've ever walked through New York City and looked up, it's like a museum in the sky. Every building tells a story not just of its own construction, but of the era it was born in. Today, we're taking a journey through time from the roaring 20s to the digital age to see how NYC's Skyline got its iconic look. Let's dive into the evolution of New York City architecture. Picture this. It's the 1920s and 30s. The city is buzzing with jazz, ambition, and a whole lot of glamour. This is the age of Art Deco. Think of the Chrysler Building with its gleaming terraced crown that looks like a sunburst, or the legendary Empire State Building, which for decades was the tallest in the world. These weren't just buildings. They were monuments to progress and optimism. Their ornate details, geometric patterns, and towering spires were designed to inspire awe, reaching for the heavens and symbolizing a city that believed anything was possible. They were bold, decorative, and unapologetically ambitious, just like the times. Fast forward to the post-war era, the 1950s and 60s. The mood has shifted. The world craves order, efficiency, and a clean slate. Enter mid-century modernism. This style was a complete departure from Art Deco's flair. It was all about less is more. Take a look at the Seagram building. It's a sleek bronze and glass box that set a new standard for corporate architecture. It's elegant in its simplicity. Or consider Lever House, one of the very first glass curtain wall skyscrapers in the city. These buildings stripped away all ornamentation, focusing on clean lines, functional design, and transparent facades. They reflected a new corporate culture, a world of logic, structure, and international influence. This was architecture that meant business. Then comes the turn of the new millennium. From the 2000s to today, technology has changed everything, and so has our relationship with the environment. The skyline began to fill with what we now call glass giants or super talls. These are the minimalist, often pencil-thin towers that seem to defy gravity. But it's not just about height anymore. The conversation has shifted to sustainability and innovation. We see buildings with green roofs, energy-efficient systems, and designs that maximize natural light. This new wave of architecture reflects our modern values, a connection to technology, a globalized world, and a growing awareness of our planet's future. These sleek, reflective towers mirror the digital age we live in, interconnected, transparent, and constantly looking forward. So, from the decorative spires of the Jazz Age to the clean lines of the corporate boom, and now to the sustainable glass towers of the 21st century, New York City's skyline is a living timeline. Each building is a chapter in the city's story, reflecting the dreams, values, and challenges of its time. The next time you're in the city, look up. You're not just seeing buildings. You're seeing history carved in steel and glass. Ever looked up at the New York City skyline and felt like something's changed? You're not wrong. Welcome to the new age of skyscrapers, where giants aren't just tall, they're impossibly thin. This is Billionaire's Row, and it's completely rewriting the rules of what a skyscraper can be. Take a look at towers like 432 Park Avenue or the colossal Central Park Tower. They're often called pencil towers for a reason. With a base-to-height ratio that can be as extreme as 1 to 24, they look like they defy physics. So how do they stay standing, especially against those powerful New York winds? It's all thanks to some incredible engineering. The secret lies in a few key breakthroughs. First, we have stronger, lighter concrete that can be pumped to incredible heights. Second, many of these towers use what's called a tuned mass damper. This is essentially a gigantic, heavy pendulum. We're talking hundreds of tons located near the top of the building. When the wind pushes the tower one way, this massive weight swings in the opposite direction, effectively canceling out the sway. Without it, the top floors would feel like you were on a ship at sea. Another clever trick is leaving entire floors open to the elements. These one-through floors, like the distinctive gaps you see in 432 Park Avenue, allow wind to pass right through the structure instead of pushing against it. It's brilliant, reducing the strain on the entire building and making these slender designs possible. But these supertalls aren't just engineering marvels. They're at the center of a heated debate. On one hand, they offer unparalleled views and luxury, attracting global wealth and creating some of the most expensive homes on the planet. The penthouse at Central Park Tower, for example, listed for $250 million. These buildings are bold statements of ambition and financial power. On the other hand, they cast long shadows, literally. As these towers climb higher, their shadows stretch further across Central Park, robbing precious sunlight from a public space cherished by millions. Critics argue that these buildings cater to a tiny, ultra-wealthy elite while impacting the daily lives of everyday New Yorkers. Is it fair for a private residence to cast a mile-long shadow over a public park? This debate extends to the very soul of the skyline. Are these elegant needles a beautiful evolution of architecture, or are they out-of-place intrusions that disrupt the classic, more balanced silhouette of the city? There's no easy answer. They are both celebrated and criticized, often by the same people. Ultimately, Billionaire's Row is more than just a collection of super expensive apartments. It's a symbol of 21st century New York. It represents the city's ongoing identity as a global hub for finance, innovation, and extreme luxury. These towers showcase the peak of modern engineering and design, pushing the boundaries of what's possible. At the same time, they force us to ask important questions about wealth inequality, public space, and the kind of city we want to live in. Love them or hate them, these pencil towers have fundamentally altered the most famous skyline in the world, marking a new, dramatic chapter in New York's long and ever-changing story. What do you think? Are these towers architectural triumphs or controversial eyesores? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the city, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories from the urban world.